Welcome back to our General Awareness course on the transportation of dangerous goods regulations. In this module, we will discuss the transportation of dangerous goods shipping documents. So far, we have discussed classifying dangerous goods and exemptions, both very useful topics, but hardly topics you need to consider every day. We now move into the more mundane, but very important, and to a lot of people familiar, topic of shipping documents. The underlying principle in TDG is that dangerous goods in transport must be accompanied by physical documentation that provides basic information about them. So let's talk about shipping documents. When TDG information is recorded on paper, that paper is a shipping document. There's no set format for a shipping document as long as it contains all the required information. While in transport, the shipping document must be on paper. That said, once the dangerous goods are unloaded at their destination, the shipping document may be filed on paper or in electronic form. But who has to prepare the shipping document? The one who knows the most about what is being shipped, the consignor. With the carrier's agreement, the consignor may give the carrier an electronic shipping document. If they do, the carrier must print it out on paper before starting their journey. Why must it be printed out? I want you to recall all the trouble you've had in the past remembering passwords to get into your phone or tablet. Now remember that TDG is all about emergency crews, not you. Think about an incident where the driver is incapacitated and the poor fire chief, who needs to know what's in the consignment, is left trying to open a file on the driver's phone with no clue what the password is. Now, Transport Canada does realize we're in the 21st century, and they have started consultations on amending the regulations to allow for electronic documents. But that is still a long way from becoming law. Related to a shipping document is a railway consist. It is used on trains carrying dangerous goods for which a placard is required. It lists the numerical location in the train of the rail car with the dangerous goods, such as 7 cars back from the locomotive. Lists the reporting mark of the rail car and an indication of what the dangerous goods are. And this is what we mean by a reporting mark. It is the SOO 115239 on the white rail car. Essentially, it is the serial number. So why is a consist required? In a long train, it allows emergency crews to quickly locate the cars with the dangerous goods. As I mentioned, there's no set format for a shipping document. However, there are rules. The first rule applies when you're shipping dangerous and non-dangerous goods in the same consignment. In this case, you can simply make 2 shipping documents, one for dangerous goods and one for the other goods. Or you can put information for both dangerous and non-dangerous goods on one document. In this case, there are rules, so you must highlight the dangerous goods in one of 3 ways. First, you can put the dangerous goods before the information related to the non-dangerous goods and under the heading Dangerous Goods. For example, here, where the dangerous goods are all listed above, and you can see the other goods start below them. Second, you can print or highlight the dangerous goods information in a color that contrasts with that used for the non-dangerous goods. Here you see the dangerous goods are highlighted in yellow, while the non-dangerous hemp rope is unhighlighted. Lastly, you can show the dangerous goods information following the letter X opposite the shipping name in a column under the heading DG. As in this example. Again, the hemp rope, being non-dangerous, does not have an X, in the DG column. All of these options make it easy for emergency crews to quickly identify the dangerous goods. Okay, now what goes on a shipping document? Well, a lot of things. First, the name and address of the consignor and the date the shipping record was first given to a carrier. While it's commonly found on shipping documents, the consignee's name is not actually required at all. After the consignor name and date, we then enter the UN number followed by the shipping name. At this point, I want to discuss some rules for presenting shipping names. I realize this section will not be exciting, but it is important. First, the regulations do recognize that sometimes two names are allowable. In such case, Schedule 1 separates the two names by the word or. For example, both acetic acid glacial and acetic acid solution are legitimate names for acetic acid. You may use either one. I note that acetic acid is more commonly called vinegar. That is not an official name and cannot be used on shipping documents. As there are many more products and combinations of products than the regulations can possibly list, the regulations do create groups of products with the same hazards. An example is flammable liquids. While the regulations do explicitly list gasoline, ethanol, and several other flammable liquids, that leaves tens of thousands unlisted. So the regulations include the category flammable liquid NOS, where the acronym NOS means not otherwise specified. This is the catch-all shipping name for all flammable liquids that are not explicitly listed in Schedule 1. There are dozens of such categories throughout the schedule. There are several more shipping name rules to cover. Shipping names may be singular or plural, so battery and batteries are both allowed. The names may usually be written in upper or lower case. An exception to this is when there is some descriptive text after the name. Here we have sodium chloride, commonly called bleach. Sodium chloride comes in many strengths, only the strongest of which are dangerous. Thus we have the descriptive text, sodium chloride, with more than 7% available chlorine. When the shipping name is followed by descriptive text, the shipping name must always be in uppercase letters, as in sodium chloride, and the descriptive text must be in lowercase letters, such as more than 7% available chlorine. The shipping name may be written in French or English. Question: what do non-English or French-speaking emergency crews do? They use the UN number and the symbols. As we will discuss, we've discussed previously the UN number, and we'll be discussing the symbols in the next module. The words in the shipping name may be put in a different word order, as long as the full name is used and the word order is a commonly used one. For example, ammonia anhydrous may be written anhydrous ammonia, where anhydrous simply means it does not contain water. For solutions and mixtures, one writes the shipping name followed by the word solution or mixture. You may also include the concentration of the solution or mixture to give the emergency crews even more information. The example shown, ethylene oxide and carbon dioxide mixture with more than 87% ethylene oxide. Here, ethylene oxide is a gas used to sterilize hospital equipment. For waste, the shipping name is preceded or followed by the word waste. For example, the oily rags you throw in the bin are officially called cotton waste oily. And the last shipping name rule is used when a dangerous good is mixed with non-dangerous goods. If the mixture or solution is named in Schedule 1, then use that name. For example, a mixture of 30% ethanol and water would be called ethanol with more than 24% ethanol by volume, a name actually listed in Schedule 1. If the dangerous goods are not listed explicitly in Schedule 1, then use the dangerous goods' original shipping name along with a description. For example, a solution of mercuric chloride dissolved in water would be classed as mercuric chloride solution, X% mercuric chloride by weight. And to everyone's great joy, that ends our discussion of shipping name rules. Getting back to the contents of a shipping document, immediately after the shipping name, we list the primary class, which may be shown as a number only or under the heading class or following the word class. The subsidiary class in parentheses, the packing group Roman numeral, and lastly, for dangerous goods subject to special provision 23, the words toxic by inhalation or toxic inhalation hazard. The information on the shipping name and other details must be in the order listed. Why? Again, back to emergency crews, they need understandable information quickly. Allowing the information to be presented in essentially a random order would only slow them down. So these are all allowable ways to present the information for methanol. And at the bottom of the list is the information for phosphine, an agricultural fumigant that is listed under Special Provision 23. Thus, it is followed by the words toxic by inhalation. And as you may recall from Module 2 on classification, gases do not have packing groups. Thus, the lack of a Roman numeral when listing phosphine, which is a gas. And there's even more information to place on a shipping document. For each shipping name, the quantity of dangerous goods and the unit of measure, with the units of measure being metric. And for dangerous goods and small means of containment that require a label, the number of small means of containment for each shipping name is also required. And there are two more pieces of information on a shipping document. The first is rather straightforward, a 24-hour emergency phone number. The second, which is often missed, is the consignor's certification. The wording for the certification is given in the regulation and says, I hereby declare the contents of this consignment are fully and accurately described above by the proper shipping name, are properly classified and packaged, have dangerous goods safety marks properly affixed or displayed on them, and are in all respects in proper condition for transport according to the Transportation of Dangerous Goods regulations. In most cases, you must use this exact wording on the shipping document. In addition to all the previous general items to include on all shipping documents, there are a couple of special items to add in some circumstances. If the dangerous goods require an emergency response assistance plan, you must give the reference number of the plan and a phone number to call to activate it. We'll talk more about such plans in a later module. For dangerous goods included in Class 3 flammable liquids, such as gasoline and diesel fuel, you must list the flashpoint. This can be done in a column entitled Flashpoint. Lastly, for a pesticide that is a marine pollutant, you must include the name and concentration of the most active substance in the pesticide. And how would you know something is a marine pollutant? The easiest way to see if something is classified as a marine pollutant is to look in column 4 of Schedule 3. As the slide shows, magnesium arsenate has a P in column 4, indicating it is a marine pollutant. Crap, that's a lot of information. Page 25 of your participant guide gives an example of what a shipping document could look like. Remember, there is no set format. The yellow parts of the example are the parts required by regulation. The others are all discretionary. Filling out a shipping document, you could get something like this for car batteries. Complication, though. We've all seen the oil or propane trucks delivering fuel to homes. They start out full, but they get emptier and emptier as they go along. But the shipping document must accurately list the quantity at all times. So what happens? The regulations allow a driver to alter the shipping document to keep the information accurately. This can be done by simply crossing the inaccurate number out and replacing it with an accurate one, as shown on the slide. Or, if there are many changes, such as with an oil delivery truck, by tracking the amount of dangerous goods on a sheet attached to the shipping document. Now that we've spent so much time creating our shipping documents, it'd be a shame if we lost them. So once we've given the document to the carrier, there are special places it must go. For a truck, the shipping document must be kept in a pocket mounted on the driver's door or within the driver's reach on the driver's seat, or in a location that is clearly visible to anyone entering through the driver's door. For a train, both the shipping document and the consist must be in the possession of one of the train crew. If the train is parked, and thus there is no crew, it must be kept in the first locomotive. Why are these requirements needed? Remember, once again, these are emergency regulations. They kick in after incidents. In some serious incidents, the driver may be incapacitated and unable to tell emergency responders what they are carrying or where the shipping document is. In such cases, having the document in a consistent location allows emergency crews to find it themselves. Now, what about ships or ferries? When a truck carrying dangerous goods goes on a ship or ferry, they must give the ship crew a paper or electronic copy of the shipping document, or a list that includes the classification of all the dangerous goods. These documents must then be kept on or near the bridge. Good so far? But what happens when long-haul truckers take a break and sleep? When possession of the dangerous goods has not been transferred to another person, and the dangerous goods are left in an unsupervised area, after being unloaded from the truck, after the trailer containing the dangerous goods has been disconnected from the tractor trailer, or when the rail car containing the dangerous goods is no longer part of a train, the shipping document must be placed in a waterproof receptacle securely attached to or near the means of containment, at a readily identifiable and accessible location. Again, easy for emergency crews to find. What about leaving dangerous goods in a supervised area? In such cases, the person in charge of the supervised area is considered to have taken possession of the dangerous goods. The carrier must now leave a copy of the shipping document with that person in charge, who must keep it and give it to the next person who takes possession. When the person in charge of a supervised area is absent from the area, that person must ensure the copy of the shipping document is either left as required for an unsupervised area or left in the possession of an employee who is present and is designated for that purpose. Okay, that's handling the shipping document during transport. What happens to the shipping document after the consignment has been delivered? The consignor and the carrier must both keep copies for at least 2 years after the date the shipping document was prepared or given to the carrier. The consignee does not have to keep anything. There are 2 exemptions to this record-keeping requirement. One, if you only store dangerous goods but never transport them. For instance, you offer a place for carriers to temporarily store goods until another carrier can pick them up, but you never transport them yourself. The second exemption is for a carrier who transports dangerous goods from a place outside Canada through Canada to another place outside Canada, but never unloads them in Canada. Well, that is complicated wording. Imagine a truck driving from Washington State to Alaska, going through British Columbia and the Yukon, but never stopping. The dangerous goods are transported through Canada, but never unloaded here. Thus, this exemption can be applied. And that concludes our discussion of the transportation of dangerous goods shipping documents. I invite you now to move on to Module 5, where we will discuss placards and labels.